Today we're going to be talking about Aerodrome Finance. This is my favorite beta play to Ethereum. I think Ethereum is going to go on a big run in the coming months. We've already seen the signs that it's ready to pump. And I think, you're not going to get crazy gains on Ethereum. Maybe you're going to get like a 2x, something like that. Maybe it goes to 5K, maybe 6K. But with Aerodrome, you're going to get many more X's than that. So that's why I'm betting on it. Obviously, it's not directly on the Ethereum ecosystem because it's not the DEX for Ethereum. That is obviously Uniswap, but it's on Base, and Base is a layer 2 on Ethereum. If Base had their own token, it would be probably a stupid market cap. It would be like right up there alongside Solana and BNB and those types of projects, I think, because if you look at it in many metrics, it's actually really, really high up in terms of how many people are using it, the volume, the TVL, all that stuff. In terms of active addresses, it's actually above Ethereum. So, a lot of people are using Base because of the low fees, because of the user-friendly nature of it. Whereas Ethereum, it's a bit clunky. You're going to be waiting a while. You're going to be paying high fees. So the layer 2 obviously suits retail very well. And that's why a ton of projects are actually coming over to build their project on Base as opposed to building it on Ethereum directly, okay? Because they get the security of Ethereum, but then Base actually scales it. So a project like Virtuals, you can actually buy that on Base. Okay, so we're going to discuss all of that in today's video. We're going to discuss where I think it's going this cycle. We're going to discuss the short term because the market is having a little bit of a pullback right now. So we'll touch on that. I'll show you my targets that I'm looking at with the project and all of that as well. So smash the likes on the video if you like the sound of that. Also, I want to tell you about the sale on the VIP currently. If you use the code ATH at checkout, it stands for all-time highs, you will save yourself 25% off any of the membership options. That will give you my buy alerts, my sell alerts, access to VIP live streams, access to a 24/7 Discord community where I'm going in voice chats and talking to the members every single day. You can get that by using the code ATH at checkout and clicking the first link in the description. Okay. That will be gone tomorrow. So make sure to make full use of the code while it's available. So, quick summary of what Aerodrome is. It's basically the DeFi hub for Base, anything like swapping tokens, right? So, DEX, decentralized exchange, liquidity, if you want to provide liquidity for Base, all that stuff you can do through Aerodrome. So, it's basically the one stop shop for DeFi on Base. And we all believe in Base, we all know that it's here to stay. A lot of the other layer 2s, I think they haven't done that well this cycle. If you look at Polygon Matic, it's had a massive dump from its previous highs. Even Arbitrum, Optimism, some of these other layer 2s that are very hyped up, they haven't really lived up to the expectations. And I think the reason for that is because of how well Base has done. It's kind of taken some of the market share away from these competitive layer 2s. And, Base is completely killing it. If you look at all the projects that are going to build on a layer 2, their first choice is always Base. No one's really building on Matic anymore. They're all going straight for Base. And, that fills me with confidence for Aerodrome. If Base had a token, like I said, it will probably be at a 50 billion market cap right now. So it makes sense for the DeFi hub to maybe be a tenth of that. Maybe go to a 5 billion market cap, which would be a 10x or more from these current levels. And when we zoom into the short term with Base, you can see we had this, not with Base, with Aerodrome, we had this big run up from 27 cents all the way up to 80, essentially made a really good move here. Now we're seeing a bit of a pullback, but this is very normal. This is very healthy. You can't go up only. You need to have pullbacks along the way. And what's really interesting about Aerodrome is it has these major consolidation levels on the chart. This big red box that I've outlined, anytime it hits this box, I think it's an absolute buy on Aerodrome. And we are approaching this box. So if Aerodrome comes down to this kind of 50 cent, 52 cent region, I will likely be loading up more Aerodrome and I'll be dropping those buy alerts in the VIP group for the members in real time. But you can see it kind of uses these levels very frequently as support. You can see it here. You can see it here. Even here, this wick where we came down, it found its support around the 50 cent region. So it seems to always come for this 50 cent mark. And I think if you see it in the low 50s, which it's approaching right now, it's an absolute buy. And I don't expect it to come all the way back down to these levels. Personally, I think we are back in a bull run now with Aerodrome, and it's just simply putting in a macro higher low, and we're pushing up in some more bullish structure here. So I'm very bullish on the project. When we zoom out, you can see it had a major double top on the chart as well. My absolute worst case scenario on Aerodrome from here, like my bearish scenario, would be it simply just going to hit that double top and form a triple top. That's like the bearish scenario. But I'm not inclined to believe that that will happen because, like I've said before, if Ethereum rides all the way up to 5K or 6K, you're going to see way more gains on the beta plays. It's not going to be just Ethereum does a 2x, Aerodrome only does a 4x. No, it's going to be Ethereum does a 2x, Aerodrome does like a 10x. So it's going to drastically outperform ETH, in my opinion. So that would be like my bearish target would be simply it to go to, the all-time high level, which if we do the calculation from where we are here, that would be basically a 4x on your money. So that's like the worst case scenario. But I think most likely it can do a 10x and come to this $5.82 target at the 2.618. I think we get one final blow off top, one last pump where everyone gets really excited, thinking we're going into a super cycle, we're going to pump forever. And then that is actually the top around that level. That's my prediction on Aerodrome. It could go higher, it could go lower. But obviously, you don't wait for this level at a 10x. You should probably DCA out on the way up. And I've got my targets, I've got my levels where I'm going to be exiting out. The VIPs will get those sell alerts in real time. But it's really important in crypto never to be a perfectionist. If you think a coin can do a 10x, you shouldn't wait for that 10x. You should probably start taking profits at a 5x, at a 6x, at a 7x, just to lock in those gains because it's never guaranteed that you make money. And when you see money, you should probably capitalize and take a little bit of it off the table. So that wraps up my video today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm very bullish on base, especially on this next leg up because Ethereum's starting to gain some momentum and gather a lot of traction. We've seen Ethereum outperform Bitcoin. We've seen it even outperform Solana at times. So it seems like a lot of momentum is going to Ethereum. And for that reason, I think it's very important to have a quality beta play to Ethereum in your portfolio. And for me, that is absolutely none other than Aerodrome. I appreciate you guys watching the video. Smash the likes if you enjoyed. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Goodbye.